Hey there, y'all. This is Hades, and today we're discussing Ragnarok chapter 100 and 101. Yes, this series reached chapter 100 chapters, and it's freaking great, man. And I'm not gonna lie, they delivered. They delivered incredibly well. Cause holy cow, these chapters are insane. We can see what Loki could do, and we can see what Simo could do. Both very OP powers, but one just happens to be a very good counter, but massive drawbacks. All right, we'll get more into that as we get there. So yeah, let's just jump right into this chapter, shall we? And I'm already gonna say these chapters, both of them were incredibly good. I might actually give them. They both might be 10 out of 10. So they both might be because holy freak, they were good. All right. So let's just dive right in, shall we, to chapter 100. And yes, it's insane. From the last chapter, we saw Thor, Odin, and Hercules arrived. They were summoned by Loki, and as of course we learn later on, of course, they are nowhere like near like the actual abilities and powers of the actual original versions that they were copied from. In fact, when they're about to get destroyed, they don't even really leave a impression. They just kind of just watch. They're like mindless drones. So it's interesting that they're able to do that. I'm just curious if they're able to think for themselves, as in Loki's like, as Loki does send them out to go fight, and if Loki's the one controlling them, like you go here, or are they like actually like, okay, I summon you, now go like be like a drone and go look for my enemy, and I don't have to tell you to go look at certain areas. I'm not sure how all that works, but I mean, do you really need to when you can just spam that many? It's insane. But yes, they're going on the charge, and Heimdall's watching this, and like as he as it even says right here, only 0.5 seconds as he's thinking, like, is this allowed? Is it allowed that for Loki to be able to summon these other fighters here to go out and fight for him? Well, it's got to be because it's part of his abilities, assumingly, which it is, and he has he has a ring that enhances it. As he's like, all right, continue the fight. So I'm glad he didn't throw in the towel. He didn't like stop. He's like, hold on, no cheating or anything like that. And of course, they're all heading straight for Simu. And we get Shiva as Shiva says, hey, are you for real? This is insane. So, depending how hard the strongest version of the clones could hit, they might be able to take out Shiva. They might be able to, right? And then we get Aphrodite. We haven't seen her in a while, I want to say. And she does look a bit nerfed. I'm just saying. Come on. Really? And she just gets surprised that are we really starting off like this? As even the humans and gods are like, holy, like, what in the world's going on here? And we see Thor just doing his attacks, just breaking down trees, looking for making his way to Simu, and Hercules does the same thing. We don't really see Odin doing all that much, just because of I'm assuming it's because Loki never really saw Odin like really actually go out and fight like he saw with Thor and Hercules. I don't think he's ever saw them do that, or saw them, excuse me, Odin do that. So he's like, he just summoned him for more of a fear factor. Unless Loki in the past did see Odin do something, and he does have Odin do it, which would be a pleasant surprise, to be honest. Now the question is, can this Thor and this Hercules, can they do their like ultimate abilities? As in, Hercules could awaken Mjolnir, and that way, and then he could like use his much more stronger attack. And can Hercules go into Hound of Hades form, and be able to be like buffed like that? I honestly don't know at this point. It would be very interesting if they could. It would be if they could do that. I would assume it would not be as powerful as, how would you say, like obviously like the originals. I would say that just like how their current forms, I don't believe that they're as powerful as their original counterpart. I just don't believe it whatsoever. But again, I could be wrong, but I don't know, guys. I'm pretty sure not, because that's me, especially when we see Jack watching this, and Hollock, I believe she's saying Hulk, excuse me, my, I'm so sorry. And she said, "What in the world? How are they able to bring these people back?" And Jack says, "No, that's unacceptable." As he's using his eye to see them. So obviously, they're not the exact same. They're just flat out copies. I don't know what Jack's seeing, but even he could tell, like, yeah, this is not the real Hercules. This is definitely not the real one. So I'm just saying. And as they're continuing on their march, they look over. Heimdall announces, and he's like, "Wait, Simu's gone from his last location. Like, where'd he go?" We see a rabbit, just that confused. And then we look around the entire map area. We see a lone tree, a cave, the mountaintop, and just clearing. And it's like interesting that they're showing the cave. Is he gonna be in there? I don't know. There's a good chance Simu might take it just to try to bait Loki, which I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. But Loki again, then he shows off his power with the ring that we've all seen. He gets a ring, puts it on his hand, and then he's like, yeah, usually I could just create like a certain amount of like a low amount of clones, but with this ring, and he creates freaking hundreds of freaking clones of Odin, Thor, and Loki. Of Loki, sorry, of Odin, Thor, and Hercules, just hundreds of them. And he's like, yeah, go forth and just march out and just find Simu. And they just do that. They just all just start spreading out. Their numbers continuing to grow as they continue to go out and look for Simu. And everyone's surprised by this. Even Kojiro's like, I don't understand the mechanism behind this, but at this rate, it's irrelevant where Simu would hide. Which honestly, that's true. Like even though these things are weak, if they find Simu, that's trouble. Like that's trouble because they'll all just start dogpiling on him, right? So it's freaking insane. And then Loki, to throw him in, he tries to pull a Jack, but he announces it, so it's not as good. As in, when you announce that you have a trick up your sleeve, and you announce the weakness of that trick, there's a catch. There's obviously going to be a catch. And do I think Loki is trying to like play some um 45D chess on Simu? I think he is, but I also believe that Loki, he's he's being freaking very very overconfident. And honestly, can you really blame the guy since he could do this? And honestly, I think Simu didn't take the shot at Loki because I do believe Simu also believes that this Loki's not the real one. This Loki that's announcing all this is more than likely not the real one. Again, I could be wrong because the other clones we see are not exhibiting any personalities whatsoever, and this guy is. So is it possible for a clone to not exhibit personalities? Which again, is possible, but who knows? I think Loki's, if he really wants a clone to exhibit, to imitate, as in the mannerisms of a clone, he probably more than likely could do that. But again, we'll see. We'll see more, right? As he explains his ability, essentially Loki's powers are if he could grab something and touch it with the all of his hand, all his fingers and everything on the thing, as he demonstrates with the squirrel, he's able to copy their form with his own powers. But when he puts on the ring, he could just create an indefinite amount of clones, and he just laughs at it. He says, "Yeah." And the only downside to that is their powers diminish. And that's when he's like, "Oops, my bad. I didn't mean to say that." And it's like, come on, everyone except Ares didn't fall for it. Ares fell for it, and Hermes and Zeus were like, "Yeah, but obviously this is Loki. He's weird, but he's not an idiot." Essentially, and Ares like, "Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew." Ares, come on, man, come on, you're the god of war. And right there, yeah, and it's confirmed essentially by Zeus and Hermes' analysis that yeah, that's true. There's he unpurposely said, yeah, yeah, my clones, they have a weakness, but you know what? Don't worry about that. Yeah, obviously you know that, right? And essentially it explains Loki did that to hide the fact that there's an actual real, well, not a real clone, but well, redundant, right? There's an actual clone in there that actually has like incredible power, like has like I'm assuming they like it would rival Thor, but it's like, come on, really, like a very very strong one. Where like this one should be able to tank an attack from Simu's rifle from the I almost want to call it Volt Sending because of Bleach, but Volden, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. And that's the thing, is like Loki's plan is like, yeah, then when Simu fires a gun and hits that Thor, the bullet's not going to kill him, and then all the other clones are going to go follow. And even if he does kill a clone, that's just going to give away Simu's position, and they'll all go charge at him. And that's the plan essentially. And honestly, pretty good plan. It's a really good plan here, because if you could just spam clones and just send them out to go find your opponent, I mean that's a huge boon, right? And as they're going, there's a they notice a shot, and right there they notice like it's weird because it's like a shot of light, which obviously snipers don't do that, but there's a reason why this shot does it. And I do think that what the writers are going for is Simu is revealing his trick too, that his gun can fire a very very powerful bullet. As we see, this bullet is just a single rifle bullet, and it spreads into a buckshot and just annihilates almost all the clones. Nearly annihilates all of it, and even the powerful Thor clone. And Loki and everyone's shocked by this. Like, what in the freak happened here? And I think Simu is doing this because he has a trick too. I think his gun could actually fire actual bullets that would be like damaging to a god. But he's also using bullets here that, as we later find out, that he uses his organs as ammunition to be able to power his gun up and fire a very, very, very powerful bullet like we saw here. Like, it's insanely good. And also, they nerf Aphrodite right here, and I am not happy with that. I don't know what's going on. Who can I complain to? Anyway, and Loki is shocked by this. Like, he's like, so this is the power of the warrior Brunhilde selected to defeat me. As he's like freaking furious. Like, this dude with a single shot just took out nearly all my clones. All my freaking clones. As we see Simu there just up on a hill. Not on a hill, sorry, like on a mountain. As it says, I am so sorry if I mispronounce any of these words. Anti-god sniping. Profusion of flowers. Himitar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Finnish people. If any of you guys are watching this in Finland, just know that freaking Simu's freaking epic. I just want to say that. He's freaking legendary, man. But then, right there, we see Simu, blood's coming out of his mouth as he says, Yiski, which is 1. I'm not sure what that's going to be about, but I do believe this is probably going to give away, this is somehow going to let Loki know where Simu's location is. He's going to see the red. He's going to be like, okay, yeah. He's going to be right over there. Unless Simu is going to use his mask as a trick to trick Loki to luring him out. It could be. I mean, I have no idea, man. But guess what? Chapter 101, man. Freaking Ragnarok is a banging series, man. I gotta say, freaking holy cow, it's great. As we cut to the next chapter, I love it, man. And right there's everyone's surprised by this one single shot, annihilated everyone, and they're spectating on what's going on. And we see Loki hiding behind a tree. I mean, yeah, he would have got scared. He would have got scared and hid behind a tree. But I'm betting this is the one. This is the real one. And I think the clone is still somewhere like above the town. I think there's 2 Lokis doing here, and we're seeing the real one's point of view where he's trying to find Simu. That's what I'm thinking here. I think there's one Loki. I think either the original one is out there trying to find Simu, and there's a fake decoy one above the town, or it's switched where the real one's up above, and there's a decoy one going around looking around. Which the one that's looking over at behind the trees, the one that's having like inner monologue, so I'm assuming that's the real one. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe the real one was like on top of above the building is like, oh freaking, he just bolted behind a tree. It's possible, but we'll have to see, right? And then right there was like trying to think what's going on and everything. And Jack essentially has to explain, and like anyone in America would really would understand what happened. But I guess as Jack would say, said that yeah, essentially when a rifle is shot, it just fires a single bullet. But this is like a buckshot, like a shotgun, essentially, where the bullets would just spread out, just hit like multiple targets. Essentially, that's essentially a difference between a rifle and a shotgun. Now, if your rifle could do this at such a long distance, it's freaking insane. And like it's really, really insane. The only thing with the shotgun though is like the bullets are not precise. Like it can't be precise. So it has to fire like a bunch of pellets and at a target and just hit it so much, right? So that's the difference between a shotgun and a rifle, essentially, or I should say, sniper at this point. So I'm assuming, like, is it possible for Simu to make his gun like fully automatic? It's got to be, right? But holy frig, the repercussions of that, as we could, but I don't know. I don't think he'll use it because there's no reason to use it as a assault rifle, right? I mean, it's possible. I'm assuming it's possible, but he wouldn't do that. I could be wrong. And then we got the Ares being angry that yeah, humans in their modern day weapons and everything, like I don't know, like come on man, like he's like yeah, them humans in their modern weapons, like one of the free, like come on, they don't even fight they don't fight with honor. Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say, Ares. I mean, just because one of these guns would take you out, I'm just saying, especially if it's a divine weapon, it would take out a god. I'm just saying. And then Ares gets angry and lifts up Hermes and says, "What in a world? What in a world? What's he gonna do? What's Loki gonna freaking do?" And Zeus is like, perhaps you've prepared some kind of trick, my young Brunhilde, my dear young Brunhilde." As we cut to her, so yeah, not even Ares. Well, of course not Ares, but Hermes and Zeus are not sure what the outcome of this fight's gonna be. And then as Brunhilde gets a guest, and it's not Gold, it is Buddha. And she is very surprised to see Buddha, and Buddha's like, like, yeah, I know I'm not Goal, big sis. Still, is everything all right with little Goal? And she says, Lord Buddha, it's nothing. Is there something you need? So Does that mean Brunhilde somewhat probably knows Goal is probably out there with Siegfried and Nostradamus? Because she just she does seem to be wondering like, okay, what's the goal? Like, we don't know if she's wondering like where's Gaul gone or how long she's gonna be. We don't get an answer to that. And from her looks of it, her reaction to Buddha saying, "Yeah, where's Gaul at?" And Brunhilde's like not even really giving an answer, not even saying, "I don't know." Her just not really, not giving an answer makes me think, wait, is it possible that she knows that she was taken to see Siegfried, since she's a piece of the major puzzle to for the whole freaking thing to go down? Maybe Brunhilde knows, okay, yeah, Goal needs to see this. Nostradamus, take Goal, and then go out and show her Siegfried, and then let them know what happened. Let her know what's going on and everything. Because this series is like the point of view from Goal. That's kind of how it's always been, especially from the first chapter. Because it seems like everyone else knows what's going on except Goal. It's like we're like the insert for Goal, and Goal's the one that's like figuring all of this out. We're figuring it out at the same time as she is. So I wouldn't be surprised if they sent her, if Brunhilde sent her to go figure out what's going on, because Brunhilde would know about, like, she knows about Siegfried and everything being tied down, right? I believe that's what happened. She knows about that. So it's possible that Brunhilde's like, okay, now it's time with Ragnarok, heating up even more so than it was in the beginning. Yeah, Nostradamus kidnap a Gull and take her to Siegfried, and that's what happened. That's what I'm thinking happened. I could be wrong, but we'll see in the future, right? And then we get Buddha coming up to Berthilde, trying to figure out like what in the world's going on here. Like, like I know when like essentially he explains, with their abilities with he taught the Valkyries, yeah, you could become weapons for the humans and being able to use them to, essentially to actually be able to send them fight the gods. But something that Simu did is just way, something on a whole other level, like of power, essentially from we've seen from other divine weapons that were created by the Valkyries when the Valkyries turned to them. Like, this is whole other thing. Like, we never saw this happen or anything, right? And so he's trying to figure out what's going on. And Brunhilde says, "Yeah, well, all this is the price to pay for essentially Simu." As I said earlier, he uses his his organs as ammunition. As he used that first shot to wipe out all those clones, he used it, and that's why he got the blood. So that's like, okay, that's interesting that happened. And of course, his Valkyrie gets damaged too by this, which is like, holy freak, are you serious? She gets damaged too. I guess it's just that much power being channeled through her that he was able to fire it off. I believe that's what it was. And Buddha's even shocked by this, as he said, an organ for a bullet. Nope, 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 nope. Isn't that way too painful? And yeah, it would be. But Simu, he's as Bertilda says, I'll say exactly how she says. Even though he was fighting to protect his fatherland, the act of shooting people for him was an unbearable pain. Now, I don't know if the creators are getting this from an actual Simu, like from an actual like interview, or is something he might have gone like he was like he didn't like killing, how would you say it? Like, it's hard to explain. Like, obviously he would have as they said here, yeah, he was protecting his fatherland, but the act of killing was probably just distasteful to him. That's what I'm assuming. That's what they're going for here. Like, he was good at it, but he just didn't like killing. But he did it because why? Because they were invading his homeland, and he had to defend it, and therefore he did it. So it does raise the question, like, okay, so again, obviously these characters are very different from a lot of their actual historical counterparts. So I'm just interested if Simu, like the actual one, did show some like, and not remorse, but like not even sadness, like as in like, yeah, it's a shame, like, a lot of people had to die. It's a shame, but that's war, like something like that. I don't think Simu would take back his actions. This version, I should say. I'm not talking about the real one. I'm talking about this one here. I don't think this Simu would take back his actions for defending his fatherland. I think it's like, yeah, I had to do it. I had to kill them all, and you know what? That's the way it is. I don't think Simu feels sorry for the fact that he wiped them. It's more like, how's the phrase go? I'm not sorry that I did it, but I'm sorry I had to do it. I think that's kind of like the best phrase I could come up with at the moment on why Simu would feel, something like this. You know what I mean? Like, if you're defending your land, your country, and you're able to just wipe out like so many, so like hundreds of soldiers, like you had that ability to like be like Simo, just snipe them and just take them all out. You know, that like yeah, man, that's holy cow. You know, you would do it, but it's messed up. But it has to be done. You know, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm assuming is going on here. I don't think Simo is feeling bad for killing him. I think it's just just the act of like, yeah, a lot of people have to die, and that's the shame of it. But that's war. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm explaining it right. I hope I am. And then so yes, Simu, he's essentially using his organs like as atonement. Like I honestly don't believe like this is the only way Simu could like fire a bullet that actually be effective. I think the fact that he's using his organs as ammunition is so that the bullets are just so much more powerful. Because there's no way a single bullet, like let's say like it was Jack, right? If Jack touched a gun and he fired it, and well, if he touches the bullet and he has the gun and he puts it in the gun, loads it, and fires at a god, it's gonna hurt the god, right? But it will still just fire just like a normal bullet. But with this here, transferring his organs, like we see, yeah, he transfers his liver. I had to look up how long a person could live without their liver because I was not sure they could live for a long time. I mean, what was it like? A few weeks. It's possible for a human to live a few weeks without their liver. So I was like, oh, freak, okay. I looked that up on Google, right? I'm not gonna say I'm not. I didn't. I could not think. I would not never know that on my own. So I looked it up. So yeah, Simu is gonna sacrifice a liver, and I'm thinking, okay, Loki. Okay, not Loki. Excuse me. Simu. The gods here are able to treat people, treat gods, and help them regain their limbs back and stuff like that. Like really, as we've seen with Shiva. But with humans, we never really seen that. Again, the last person we saw that was severely damaged, and we saw them in the hospital was Shinji Hung, and we never saw if they were able to grow his arm back. Presumably, they could regrow limbs, organs. I assume they can, and that's what they're gonna have to do with Simu. But I think they're putting such tension here on Simu that the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, I honestly my stock in freaking Simu dying in this fight is like it went high. Like it went high. Like I couldn't believe when I saw like, oh freak Simu, man. Now I know many people say this could probably be in a draw. I think it's possible, but I still believe that Simu is gonna win. I think he's still gonna win. He made a promise to his dog, and you never break that promise unless you die. And Loki also promised, you know what? No, I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna win this fight. And it's interesting. That's the tragedy of these fights for characters like characters you really like and everything. I'm not gonna. I like Simu way more than I like Loki because Loki's a freaking maniac. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Again, these two chapters are freaking great, and they're both freaking 10 out of 10s. And I holy freak, it's insane. And I don't know if you guys know. If you listen this far, first of all, I appreciate you so much and thank you for that. And again, I still think Simu's gonna win, but it's gonna be close. It's gonna be very very close. And I wonder what his liver shot's gonna do. I wonder what he's gonna plan with that because we end this chapter of him on a tree getting a sniper ready, more blood spilling from his mouth. Oh boy. And Simo, it doesn't like he's holding a good poker face. Like, yeah, he coughs out, blood when he uses an organ. But for the most part, like his aim's freaking true, man. I really hope this doesn't affect his aim. It probably will, but I hope it doesn't. Or my as he his ability is it's his salvation. And then we get the ending credits here says the single shot destroy him. Oh boy, man. I feel bad for Simo. I feel freaking bad for this dude, man. But he's got to do what he has to do, right? And he's got to win this for humanity, for humanity's survival. So talk about the ultimate, fatherland protection, And so I looked up. I wanted to know how much shots does Simu have, and he has in the typical human body, on average, holds. Again, I'm looking at this on Google, so if I'm wrong, my apologies. 78 organs. That is way more than I would have ever thought was in a human. I would have thought like around like 20 some because I was just thinking, the heart, lungs, and everything. And I guess they do say here depends on, like what you would not consider an organ, but like how much of the actual like organ functions you would do anticipate. But yeah, around 78 organs. So I'm not so Fimo has a pretty dang good shot. Like he has a pretty good dang good shot of being able to take out Loki, unless he does have to do the automatic one. I hope not. So yeah, Simo has a lot of good shots. It's just yeah, you have a lot of shots, but the fact that you're using your own organs is like oh man, that's gonna be like painful, right? So yeah, it's insane. And I also do want to point out, I know this, the skin's an organ. You guys think he'll use his skin as a bullet? I don't think so. I don't think he'll go that far, but holy free. I mean, I could be wrong, right? Jeez, man, this ability is terrifying. But I think Simu's gonna pull through. I legit do believe he's gonna win this fight and be able to take out Loki. But again, Loki's power is freaking OP. Loki, literally, if I was Loki, okay, it'd be a massive, massive coward move. But I would probably just be like, okay, you know what? No, because I'd give my position away. I was thinking like I would dig a hole, hide in it, and just send out clones. But then Simu could just probably create a bullet that probably he'll just like probably just actually shoot down the hole and completely annihilate Loki in there. What would Loki's? Because when Loki creates the clones, like you know, because the black smoke appears there. Like when you see him just mass producing clones, or even creating like what was it, 4 clones? Like smoke comes out. And if I remember correctly, that's what happens when he always created his clones, even way back then. When he's creating the trend, you see the smoke coming out of the hand. So black on white's not that great. That's gonna give him away. But again, same with Simu, red on white, that's also gonna give you away. So I think that's gonna play big factors there. But yeah, great chapters. Simu, he's still gonna win this. I know it. I don't think it's gonna be a tie. I think Simu will go back to his dog. I think so, but hopefully. Right. Anyway, if you guys listen this far, I appreciate it. I know. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. And yeah, this is the risk. Man, the stakes, man. They know how to do it. The writers freaking know what they're doing. Anyway,